It's Monday night, and you know what that means. Jersey First TV proudly brings to you the latest edition of Real Talk. And yes, I am New Jersey's premier award winning journalist, top 100 Latino via the Latino Spirit online magazine for the third consecutive year. Certainly the weapon of mass disruption in Garden State media. And without a doubt, the people's voice and the people's choice. Yes, it is me, Fernando Uribe, folks. Happy Monday. This great weather. Again, I appreciate you tuning in here and joining us from wherever and however you may be doing so right now on Facebook Live via StreamYard and also on the Jersey First YouTube page, as well as on LinkedIn and Twitter. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, always remember to check out all of our great social media pages. Make sure you like Real Talk with Fernando Uribe on Facebook. Also, like Jersey First as well. And don't forget to follow Jersey First TV on Instagram and Twitter, as well as my own Instagram and Twitter. It's the same handle at the Fernando Zone. And of course, make sure you subscribe to Jersey First on their YouTube page and wherever you get your podcast, whether it's Spotify or SoundCloud. Take Jersey First TV with you, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, I cannot say enough how proud I am to be on the dream team of journalism here in the Garden State. Of course, brand new episodes of The Nader Narrative air every Thursday via jerseyfirst.org/TV. And of course, also new episodes of Bridging the Gap with AJ Malilo and Stephen Rombolo. And certainly every Monday night live at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, you can always check out Real Talk with Fernando Uribe. Once again, folks, Jersey First TV, always educating, engaging, and entertaining. We do it better than anyone else in New Jersey media. And folks, by the way, as you can see, I'm rocking that red here tonight because, of course, I have to show my love and my fandom. Of course, you know for who it's for. It's for my New Jersey Devils. Yes, folks, as the Stanley Cup playoffs begin tomorrow, let me have a little tea here as we play the Dirty Rangers starting tomorrow night at the Rock in Newark. We all know the Prudential Center is going to be rocking and rolling tomorrow night, folks, as the New Jersey Devils will take on the New York Rangers in the first round of the Eastern Conference playoffs. I'm excited. I'm one of those few Hispanics, ladies and gentlemen, that loves hockey. I'll be glued to my TV set tomorrow watching my New Jersey Devils take on the Broadway Blue Skirts. Hopefully they'll get rid of them in 5, maybe 6 games, but I say it loud and I say it proud. Let's go Devils. That's why I'm rocking the red here tonight on Real Talk. And folks, also, again, before we get to my guest this evening, I also want to say a special thank you to the Latino Spirit Index, and of course, via the Latino Spirit Online Magazine. For the third consecutive year, your favorite journalist, ladies and gentlemen, has been nominated as a top Latino, and I cannot say enough about how proud I am to do so and to be that role model for you, for Hispanics, Latinos, and Latinas everywhere, as we are representing, as we are doing wonderful things in journalism, education, business, philanthropy, and much more, folks. I'm so proud. And once again, thank you to Diego Maya, the editor-in-chief and publisher of the Latino Spirit magazine, and of course, all the staff that made last week's Latino Spirit Gala at the State Theater in New Brunswick an overwhelming success. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's interesting because, when I think about top Latinos, yes, folks, it's yours truly. And what's really interesting to me is, a lot of people like to hate on Fernando Uribe. A lot of people like to sort of make some commentary about the award-winning brand of journalism by Fernando Uribe. And it just got me thinking, according to recent data, there's over 100,000 flavors on the planet Earth. And for so many haters in the state of New Jersey, again, with so many flavors to choose from, you're always choosing salty. I don't know. Do better, guys. You know what I'm saying? I know there's a lot of hate out there for Fernando Uribe, but be better than just being salty all the time. But of course, folks, they can't help it. And I can't help bringing it to your attention. Of course, folks, thank you so much for joining us here. Of course, it is election season in the Garden State. All 120 legislative seats are up for grabs this November. Of course, coming up in June is primary season. A lot of primaries all throughout all 40 legislative districts. Very interesting races, especially in the 17th legislative district, obviously down in central Jersey. Folks, joining me here tonight, He is the state assembly candidate in the 17th legislative district. Folks, please welcome Dhimant G. Patel. He joins us here tonight on Real Talk. Dhimant, how are you?
Yeah, good. Dr. Fernando, thank you for inviting me in your show, and thank you for Republican Party also to
Sure.
picking me as a candidate for the state assembly in LD 17.
Okay. Well, excellent. So let's get into that. Dhimant, obviously, what was your motivation for running for the state assembly?
So I'm working since like 3-4 years as a Piscataway Republican treasurer because I really think we need new people, new ideas in a town. Not, of course, the Democrat who continue raises the taxes, give their unqualified friends contract and research for more jobs, right, to their pensions. I'm running for assembly for many of the reasons. I ran for the local office also. Democrat have been running, this town and districts forever, and you know, all we are having high taxes, more regulations, and less freedom. So
Sure.
those are the reasons, going me to move forward to running, state assembly in this sector.
Oh, sure. Okay. Well, Dhimant, obviously, I mean, it's clear, you came to the country for freedom and opportunity. And, I think it's clear that in Trenton, a lot of us are losing that, again, because of those policies by many far left Democrats in Trenton. What do you think right now is lacking in this with the current members in the state assembly in the 17th legislature? What do you think is lacking?
Is everything because my opponent do nothing in Trenton to help ease the burdens on middle class families. First of all, they has to figure out how to ease the middle class family, the taxations and other stuff. So that is the one of the major things. He do nothing for that that major point for my that reason to be having the state assembly elections.
Sure.
They do
And
nothing for veterans returning home from service also. They are not doing observable thing to do properly, treat them like more services they have to provide after returning home. That way I'm respecting veterans also. And then they has to do the main help to the street business and the rubber stamp from the Murphy's failing agenda and the line their pockets with the government jobs and government contracts. My opponent has 3 full-time government jobs. That's corruption, period. So, those are the things need to be, by new candidate, definitely take a look more details of it. That is the reason, I want to move forward those criteria to how I can sort it out.
sure, no, absolutely. And folks, if you just join us right now, it is 6:08 on the East Coast right now here on Jersey First TV. Joining me here live this evening, he is a candidate for the state assembly on the Republican side, Mr. Dhimant G. Patel, joining us this evening here on the latest edition of Real Talk. Folks, again, don't forget, sharing is caring. If you're just joining us live right now, click that share button on your social media and make sure that Real Talk appears on all of your social media platforms. Folks, stay tuned. I have plenty to say about what's going wrong in New Jersey media later on, but tonight here, we're talking politics and the election season here in the state of New Jersey. Dhimant, what motivated you to register as a Republican?
I'm from India and my community is big here. So my community is taken advantage by the Democrats. So they think belong to them. As a result, they never reach out to us and listen to us or including any draft policy or anything. They take granted for the votes only, but nothing to be involved more towards to the our community. In order to make it more move forward, I have to be as a part of it, as a spectrum, political spectrum. That is the reason I want to raise voice for my community. How can we have a more, as a part of the policy, how can we more binding to it? That is the reason I motivated as a Republican because
Sure.
Republican is giving the more three-dimensional idea, like how's going on, like not the one-sided. They give idea of how to make policy with work out with both sides.
Sure.
So
No,
that
listen, and that's
motivates
important.
me.
And no, listen, and that's very important. And I'm glad that you're articulating this tonight because for someone like you, that obviously you're running, you don't have a lot of experience per se, but you're jumping in. That's refreshing. Again, as a homeowner and a taxpayer, I'm seeing you, taking the initiative. And I think that's really important because half the battle is just wanting to get involved, wanting to run for office. And I think that's very commendable. I admire you. And certainly, I
Thank
really
you.
have to give so much credit to your courage for wanting to put your name out there and really, be someone that your community can believe in and someone that your community can trust. Obviously, when they go vote later on in June in the primary and then this November to try to change the district to Republican, because as we know, not all Democrats are bad. I know this because I live in an area where there's a lot of middle class, working class Democrats. They're not the problem. The problem is the very far left, Phil Murphy, the Emperor, and everybody on the far left of the Democrat Party in Trenton that just doesn't understand good policy. So to me, it's refreshing to see you wanting to get involved and really, really speak your mind and speak your voice. Of course, Dhimant, let me ask you this again, what are Democrats right now doing wrong in Trenton, in your opinion?
Almost everything, because they have given all their power to the administration, right? So the current assembly is just a rubber stamp for the what governor and the speaker want, and whatever the Phil Murphy wants, the Democrat Assembly Speaker from my county schedules, and the Democrat caucus give him. This state is basically run by three people: Phil Murphy, Democrat Assembly Speaker, and Senate Speaker, both of whom make their living government lawyers, and this has no stop. There must be a bipartisan balance in Trenton, and Republican need to get elected to stop those no question asked one party rule in Trenton. It has to be stopped no matter what. If there is objection happens, then only then people have awareness of it, what's going on and what's going not. So
Well, Dima, listen, I think you said it perfectly. I think that what we've seen for a long time, and I've talked to your running mate who was running for the state Senate in your district too, William Makita, talked to him a couple of weeks ago on the show, and he echoes the same sentiment you do. The Democrats in Trenton such as the Emperor, Phil Murphy, Senate President Scutari, Assembly Speaker Coughlin, it just seems like whatever the governor wants, they'll be like, yes, yes, yes,
yes,
yes, your Emperor,
there's no
yes.
objection from their end. Yep.
I hear you. And it seems like whenever the Emperor wants something, they're like, yes, Emperor, we'll give you whatever you want. And in the end, the problem is that people that suffer are people like you and me. We own homes, we own businesses, we pay taxes. And it just seems like I would hope that, again, one party has really been the majority in the legislature for over 20 years. Republicans come in governor, Democrats come as a governor, not too often, but it seems like, again, working class, middle class Democrats, like where I live up here in North Jersey, they're the minority. It seems like the far left, economically irresponsible Democrats, right? Like Coughlin, Teresa Ruiz, the Senate's president, even Sweeney before, and now Scutari to some extent is the same thing. It's like they don't believe in good business practices. If they spend money at home the way they spend money in Trenton, they'd be broke. So it's really disappointing to see that so many people in those districts keep drinking the Kool-Aid over and over again, and they're not getting smarter by knowing that, again, a lot of the leadership in Trenton is not serving them. So it's really, really, it annoys me too. Now, do you feel confident, though, Dhimant, that your life story, again, as an immigrant, and, the example that you provide, you came here, got an education, you're a professional. Do you think that your example, your story can win over voters in your district?
Definitely, because I came from India, and which state I came from is Gujarat. That's called Gujarat state, and one of the best prime minister He is also from Gujarat. His name is Narendra Modi. He's the best president ever. So I guess some of the character we want to accept from there. We want to fight for justice, freedom, and for the middle class family and veterans and other things. So that motivates me more towards to the my story correlate with it. So basically, I came from this country in 2005 with my wife, who she was already a U.S. citizen, and I started my career uh, in a pharmaceutical company and doing the hard work, getting the good to know like all the compliances and working hard and establish my wonderful family and kids. And that's about the leadership started, and I bought the house in 2015, and then moving forward, work hard with this.
Well,
Under
again,
the,
again, what you represent, I think, is something that I can understand. I'm the son of immigrants. My parents left Cuba
that's
and
the best
Colombia.
example. Yeah,
Yeah, they left Cuba and Colombia, and they saw firsthand the opportunities here. And they came here, did not know the language. They had to learn English. They went and got, the education necessary that was going to help get them the best job possible.
yes,
And I would argue that whether you're Indian, Cuban, Colombian, Latino, European, African, Asian, the immigrant experience is so important. And when you come here as an immigrant, and again, my mom left communism behind, thankfully. My dad left a bad economy and poverty really in Colombia. And, just like yourself, you leave bad situations to come to better situations. And you come here, you make a life for yourself, for you and your family. It's a great story. So to me, it's a story I would say that, when you're going knocking on doors, talking to people in the district, hey, take a chance on me. I understand. I look like you. I know what you're going through. I've experienced all the tough times. If you don't know the language, if English is your second language, hey, I know because I had to live that experience. So I
right.
think, you're a great story. I think for people in the district to say, hey, give me something new, give me something refreshing. I would say that you check off all those boxes again because of your immigrant story and also the success story that you represent today. Let me ask you this, Dhimant. If you're elected, again, should you win in June during the primary and go on, hopefully, to win in November and change, hopefully, that district to red for the first time in a long time, what do you want to focus on in your if elected, in your first term as an assemblyman? What do you want to focus on?
So this is a beautiful country with all the resources and all those things, right? But the country needs the proper running president, assembly, county, and everywhere. That is the reason is lacking the inflation and other stuff, right? So mainly focus of my uh, thing is I'm gonna have it with my teammate Sue Huko and Bill Mikita take office for the next January. Hopefully, yes, I'm hoping that things. And I'm running. I'm gonna have a voice for my community, for everyone who lives in and work, in a District 17. Not just the party bosses, develops, and big donors who currently line right the Democrats' pockets and pay access to the current representative. So I'm gonna take a look at that one also, and definitely I'll be working with more with the Bill Makita as he's a Senate candidate, and looking for the more improving the policies and
Sure.
tax things and
Listen, I had a chance to interview Bill Makita a few weeks ago. He's a great candidate. I think the three of you, your ticket is very strong. I think all three of you bring very different life experiences to this ticket, to a district I think that is hungry for change, a district that's hungry for not the same business as usual in Trenton, that wants to lower taxes, that wants to spend less, that wants to be responsible with our kids in our schools
yeah,
and be responsible in Trenton and not, believe that you have to be so crazy left and subscribe to crazy leftist ideas that, quite frankly, at the end of the day, they don't serve us. And we see that at the end of the day, it's kitchen table issues, What's affecting your pocket? What's affecting your family? How can you go grocery shopping? Are you struggling to put gas in your car? Are you struggling maybe to, go on a vacation this year where normally you want to go on a summer vacation somewhere far? Maybe you can't. Maybe you got to stay down the shore, go to the beach instead of maybe going to Florida or going to Texas or going to California, or going to the Caribbean, visiting an island. You have to start looking at what you have in front of you. Again, your property taxes, the dynamic about the spending in Trenton. I would say that you, William Makita, and your assembly running mate, I think, are very dedicated, and you seem very determined to want to bring that change to the 17 legislative districts. So to me, again, I look at you, Dhimant, you check off a lot of boxes for me. I would argue you check off a lot of boxes for people in the 17 legislative district coming up in June in the primary. And of course, this November, I want to wish you the best of luck because I think you're a great candidate. You represent a lot of what New Jersey is.
Thank you.
Brown, the Brown experience. I say it all the time that the census and the data tells us New Jersey is not becoming whiter. It's not becoming blacker. It's becoming browner. People like you, people like me, your parents, my parents, the Brown experience. We are soon enough going to be the majority in New Jersey. The immigrant story, the hardworking immigrant story, the hardworking American story. Again, I think that's what you represent. And I think you're going to, obviously you're very determined along with the rest of the ticket. I want to wish you luck. I think you're a great candidate. And we're about to wrap up here, but I'll give you the final word here tonight.
Thank you, Dr. Fernando, for having me this, giving an explore to me, myself, community, District 17, for my Republican Party, and especially for my family and kids. Thank you for inviting me, and thank you, Republican Party, for picking me as a good candidate for running for the District 17 as an assembly member. Thank you, Bill Makita. Thank you, teammate, everyone.
All right.
Hoping for the vote for my community. Come and get and vote for the November. We want to win, and we're going to do definitely some changes, what they haven't done since 20 years. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Dhimant, I love your attitude. Folks, he is Dhimant G. Patel, State Assembly candidate in the 17th Legislative District. Again, make sure you cast your vote for him and the rest of the ticket. Let's change that district and make it red as my jacket, okay, this November, okay? So, Dhimant, once again, have a great holiday. Happy Father's Day. Have a good rest of the spring, and we'll talk to you soon on Real Talk via Jersey First TV. Good night, Dhimant.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Have a good night.
You too.
Folks, again, great interview there with Assembly candidate Dhimant G. Patel, and certainly as well as his state Senate candidate, William Makita. Certainly, you check out that interview a few weeks ago. Great interview for certain on this program. And folks, let me just say this here, because, oftentimes, again, being a top Latino, again, I just have to remind everybody again, but, one of the things that I take pride in, again, as the son of immigrants, first generation American, is seeing hardworking people like my parents, specifically my mother, who, by the way, celebrates a birthday today. So happy birthday, Mima. Love you immensely. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're ever curious where I got my incredible good looks from, you can always thank my mother, because it's due to my mother. And again, folks, the most beautiful woman that I know on this planet. That might rub some people the wrong way, but she's certainly the most beautiful lady in my world. Again, if you have to wonder where this beautiful face came from, it came from my mom. So happy birthday, Mima, to many, many more. And again, obviously great time celebrating this past weekend. And folks, again, you look at my guest tonight, you look at Dhimant G. Patel, and you look at his story, you look at his initiative, wanting to run for the state assembly, to want to implement some change. We've had over 20 years of the same monotonous, laborious, unfulfilling, unproductive leadership in the 17th legislative district. Again, far left Democrats, not blue collar Democrats, not working class Democrats, right? Because again, those, I don't have a problem with those. Okay. Where I live in LD 33, my mayor is also my state senator. He's a blue collar working class guy. He's a guy, guess what? He is a Democrat, but he believes in middle class, center left values. I can live with that. That's not my issue. My issue is far left Democrats, like the ones that have coddled Phil Murphy, the emperor, as well as Assembly Speaker Coughlin and Senate President Scutari. Obviously, in the 17th legislative district, those far leftist Democrats, I think, have done a bad job for some time in not making that district more affordable and not, I guess, really proposing policies that matter and make a difference in that community. Hopefully, the red team in LD 17 can do a long, long way in getting rid of that problem and that sort of monotony coming up this November. Folks, before I call it a night here, I was browsing the, I guess, journalistic news feed over the weekend. And certainly, when I think of sob stories, of course, folks, I can always rely on Insider NJ for the daily sob story. And of course, I could probably pick on Jay Lassiter with the ongoing sob story he wants to sort of force feed down our throats, right? But, again, for a guy that can't seem to keep my name out of his mouth on Twitter, I'm getting kind of bored cooking him, as I just have recently, again, reminding him that a guy in his mid to late 70s thinks it's cool to smoke marijuana online, publish that video, and think that somehow you're one of the cool kids, as if you're back in high school in homeroom. I know that was 60-something years ago for you, Jay. But you know what? Let me take a break from picking on you. And speaking of sob stories, obviously with the one that we're always dealing with yours, let's move on to another sob story, again, brought to you by Insider NJ. And of course, it's brought to you by Anjali Malhotra, the former president of the New Jersey chapter for the National Organization for Women. And of course, one of the more insufferable feminists that we can think of here in the state of New Jersey. Of course, it seems like, Jay can't keep my name out of his mouth. And certainly it would appear that Anjali apparently likes to make some commentary about yours truly online as well. So, honey, this is what's called a receipt, and it's coming your way. So, of course, over the weekend, I got to read the sob story column that she submitted as a guest columnist to Insider NJ. And of course, she writes about, obviously, what's really interesting here, talking about New Jersey needs pay transparency now. And I'm not going to read you the whole column. I mean, again, if you're in need of a cure for insomnia, you can do that. You can read Anjali's columns, and they'll gladly put you to sleep. But I'll just give you a brief synopsis here. So, of course, for far too long, women and minorities have been left behind in an ever-widening wealth gap. New Jersey has a chance to narrow the gap through equitable hiring practice regulations. Assemblyman Paul Moriarty and his pay transparency bill, which is titled A3937, along with Assemblywoman Brittany Timberlake's similar bill, would require employers to disclose hourly wages or salaries or a range of compensation with each job posting. I don't know, maybe Anjali's never heard of Indeed or Monster or Career Builder, but they do that on those websites. And I'm pretty certain they also do it on the New Jersey Department of Personnel website. I don't know, Anjali, it would behoove you to maybe, use the mouse and click on, open your browser and look at these websites, but more on that later. Of course, it would require employers to disclose the hourly wages, as I mentioned before. Now, this saves time for both potential candidates and hiring managers, as only applicants who find the compensation level satisfactory will then apply for the position. More importantly, it prevents the common practice of shortchanging new hires based on race, gender, immigration status, or some other protected class. Folks, you could always rely on Anjali and the rest of the Lollipop Guild at Insider NJ to always want to evoke victimhood. And of course, always, they never, ever miss an opportunity to evoke identity politics in a lot of the bitching and moaning that they do. Now, the bill was up for discussion in the Assembly Labor Committee on March of this year, but did not receive a vote to move out of committee. Powerful lobby interests such as the New Jersey Business and Industry Association, which, by the way, I interviewed their president, Michelle Sakurka, a few weeks back. Great interview, by the way. You should check it out. Very informative. Of course, it's my interview, and very educational as well. So I would say that for anyone to sort of take a jab at the NJBIA, I think is very disingenuous, and I think it's dishonest, to be honest with you, are asking lawmakers to take a, quote, little bit of a wait-and-see approach. They've cited improper implementation in states that have passed similar bills as a concern, which they're right about. Again, God forbid Angeli would do some basic research. Again, she'd rather bitch and moan and evoke victimhood than actually do some real work. All right. And if they are truly worried about employers posting rangers that are too large or frivolous, the bill can be amended to require a good faith clause as found in the ordinance already adopted by the city of Jersey City. However, the real reason seems to be that employers perceive the accountability measures outlined in a bill as a threat, as evidence from the response from the Chamber of Commerce of Southern New Jersey. The fact, and she put this in bold print because she just has to emphasize this, the fact that industry lobbyists are proposing that there be no consequences for noncompliance should be a red flag for all. No, it's not, Angeli. Again, and this is where you want to gaslight and you want to virtue signal. What the Chamber of Commerce in Southern New Jersey is concerned about, just like any other Chamber of Commerce, okay, is whether or not this is just government being a little too intrusive. It's funny to me, honey, that you like to pick and choose when you want government involved in things, right? And we all know, you can look at our social media. I don't have to give you the list of incidents here, okay? But make a decision, Angeli, okay? Stop picking and choosing when you want government involved and when and where you want them involved in things, okay? We all know what I'm talking about, so I don't have to tell our audience. Again, for anyone that follows you, they know exactly what I'm referring to, okay? But what was really interesting about this column, well, lack thereof, right? And it was funny. I was actually thinking about commenting on the site, but this guy wrote an amazing response here, and he actually beat me to it. But I'm going to read you a comment on the column after Angeli published it, right? And of course, she'll tag it on Insider NJ, the National Organization for Women, the AAUW New Jersey. But this comment was gold. And again, I'm really surprised that Angeli didn't have a response for it. Oh, that's right, because she can't respond to it because it's irrefutable. But let me read it to you. The gender gap pay is nonsense. That's true. Women don't go into high-risk jobs like nuclear engineering, petroleum engineering, chemical engineering, or even being carpenters, electricians, or plumbers, which is a fact. You can look it up. The data's there. Okay? Again, you would think Angeli would want to, instead of gaslighting and virtue signaling and her usual bitching and moaning, that she pick up a mouse, click on a browser, and look up this information. It's readily available. Significantly, more women are graduating college than men. That's true, and that's good, right? Why shouldn't she be celebrating that? Women are voluntarily, again, that's an important word, taking jobs like teaching, social work, psychologists, and the like. Why men and women going to different careers is a biological as well as a sociological choice. Men are built differently than women, physically and mentally. That's not slanderous. That's just fact. Okay? For example, college graduate women in their 20s living in the West Coast or in East Coast cities usually out-earn college graduated men in their 20s by a rate of 70 to 20%. You think Angeli would even bother listing this? No, again, she'd rather gaslight and virtue signal. But again, what else is new with her? Then women get married. And then subsequently, they leave the workforce to raise children because, again, that's what biological women do. They raise children. Again, don't go asking Angeli Malhotra what a woman is because she'll struggle to come up with the answer. But we all know that a woman is an adult female, okay? But, God forbid she know that too. Male incomes then start to skyrocket as they build their careers. The myth of a pay gap is just that. It's a myth, and that's correct. Women voluntarily choose their career and their life paths. According to a number of studies, the pay gap in reality is about 9%. So it's not as drastic as Angeli wants to make you believe. Again, she's having a meltdown and she's losing her mind, like she usually does in her columns, about something that really isn't as serious as she likes to make it out to be. However, since men take more dangerous and high-pressure jobs overall, which is true, the commentary here just listed them, when it comes to being crushed, mutilated, electrocuted, or mangled at work, or higher rates of heart attacks and strokes, or other lifestyle diseases, men are at a distinct disadvantage. Most backbreaking, lethally dangerous jobs, for example, a roofer, a logger, a roustabout, a coal miner, just to name a few, are done by men. They're not done by women, Angeli. That's why men are paid more. They do more dangerous jobs and more high-pressure jobs, again, which is why they get paid more. Again, God forbid she would ever insert that into her column. Again, being intellectually honest and having some integrity, that pesky four-syllable word, it seems like that's a prerequisite lately to work at Insider NJ. Now, the Labor Department, again, reports, and this is all easily researchable, folks. It's not like I'm making this up. You can find this out on your own. The Labor Department reports that nearly 5,000 American workers die from workplace accidents each year. 90% more than at a rate of 4,400 are men, Angeli. We are often reminded that only 24 women are CEOs of the Fortune 500 companies that are listed every year. But what about the unfortunate 4,000 that was just listed? Again, ladies and gentlemen, men take more dangerous jobs than women do. That's a fact. Okay. Do some take some dangerous jobs? Of course, but not at the percentage that's commensurate with their male counterparts. But again, God forbid Angeli would want to tell you that. Again, it would require her to sort of put the victimhood card down, to stop bitching and moaning and stop the virtue signaling. But again, instead of giving you facts and research, she'd rather just evoke victimhood, and that doesn't help anything. Okay. But of course, what else is new with a member of the Lollipop Guild at Insider NJ? So, folks, again, when you think about reading the New Jersey Media Echo Chamber, and again, I like to read it every weekend to see who's publishing good stories and who's publishing bad stories, or quite frankly, blatantly misleading stories. Well, you can always rely on Angeli Malhotra, the former president of the New Jersey chapter of the National Organization for Women, of course, vis-a-vis Insider NJ. Because, folks, when it comes to evoking victimhood and virtue signaling, folks, nobody does it better than Angeli Malhotra, the rest of the Lollipop Guild, which I love to cook, and I have cooked already. And there's still some other members to cook. So don't worry, your turn is coming soon. But again, you know what? Shouldn't surprise you. When it comes to virtue signaling, gaslighting, and again, that perpetual evoking of victimhood, hey, she does it as well as anybody. So again, Angeli, you want to take a shot at me online, that's not a problem. If you think you're big and bad, that somehow you like to drop bombs online, honey, I drop nukes. You and me, we're not the same. And of course, folks, that's our show for this week. Once again, I want to thank LD17 Assembly candidate Dhimant G. Patel for his appearance tonight. Great conversation, great comments, and certainly, ladies and gentlemen, without a doubt, a guy who's determined to change that district in the 17th Legislative District, along with his running mates. Folks, check him out and do vote accordingly. Coming up during the primary season, of course, in general election coming up this November. Folks, always remember, when it comes to our social media, make sure you like us and follow us. And whether it's on Instagram or Twitter, like us on Facebook, and subscribe to Jersey First TV on YouTube. And of course, wherever you get your podcasts, on Spotify or SoundCloud, download it and take it with you wherever you go. Again, as the weather's getting warmer, maybe you're walking your dog, going for that morning run or evening run, take Jersey First with you wherever you go and wherever you get your news. Folks, I cannot say enough really how proud I am to be on the Jersey First team. Again, the dream team of journalism here in the Garden State. New episodes of The Nader Narrative air every Thursday, of course, via jerseyfirst.org/TV. And of course, new episodes of Bridging the Gap with AJ Malilo and Stephen Rombolo air every Thursday as well. Of course, new episodes of Real Talk with Fernando Uribe air every Monday night, live at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, of course, via Facebook Live on streaming, and of course, on the Jersey First TV page on YouTube, and as well as on Twitter and LinkedIn. And folks, I cannot say it enough. Listen, without you, my loyal viewing audience, the amazing traffic that we continue to get at Jersey First TV would not be possible. And again, I want to thank the Latino Spirit online magazine for the incredible honor of being a top Latino in the state of New Jersey for the third consecutive year. And again, for people that like to make comments on social media or everywhere else about my brand of award-winning journalism, again, it's kind of disconcerting when I go on Google and I look up how many flavors there are, and there are over 100,000 flavors on the planet Earth, ladies and gentlemen. And for a lot of haters here in the state of New Jersey, for some reason, they keep picking being salty. Again, folks, stop being salty and just be supportive. You have no choice. We're not going anywhere here on Jersey First TV. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, I cannot say it enough. On behalf of the Jersey First team, thank you so much for watching here. I am New Jersey's premier award-winning journalist, Top 100 Latino, Viva Latino Spirit Online Magazine for 2020, 2021, and certainly 2022, as well as the weapon of mass disruption in Garden State media, and of course, the people's choice and the people's voice. Fernando Uribe saying, let's go Devils. I'll see you next week, folks, here at 6 p.m. Eastern Time for the latest edition of Real Talk via Jersey First TV. Folks, enjoy the warm weather. Please party responsibly, and I'll see you next Monday Night Live here at 6 p.m. for Real Talk via Jersey First TV. As always, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching.